Hey, Adam Ward here, and today I am talking about Hoshin Kanri, or strategy deployment. So Hoshin Kanri, this is actually, Hoshin is Japanese for direction, and Kanri is Japanese for like management. So it's really about like management direction or where we're headed. I'll refer to it from here out as strategy deployment. That's kind of how it's been adopted here in the United States. Some people will call it policy deployment. It's really post-World War II Japan, as they were doing the Edward Deming and the total quality management implementation to rebuild their country, popularized by Toyota over the decades, and really in use by tons of companies across the United States. Extremely effective. A couple of the really big benefits of doing strategy deployment is you get focus. Okay, so the entire organization can be working exactly on the things that they know need to be worked on. Another thing is that it will drive clarity within the organization. That goes along with focus. So there'll be fuzzy things on the outside that we know we shouldn't be working on. There's things that are definitely on the outside that have no business of us working on. So focus and clarity, alignment. And this is honestly where most of my clients ask me to work, because they want from the C-suite all the way down to the line level employee to be able to be working on the same thing, the things that are important, the things that are strategic, the things that are actually going to do exactly what we need the business to do to get to where we need in the future. So alignment is a really big one. And another thing, huge strategy deployment benefit is accountability. If we're not holding each other accountable from the top to the bottom, then we're not working on the right stuff. We're not making sure we're working on the right stuff, and we're not holding each other to the best interest of our customers or our patients. Now, when people talk about Hoshin Kanri, there's a 7-step process that people will use on an annual basis. Sometimes they'll be referred to as the 7 steps. And the first one is really around what is today? What is our current performance today? So assessing today, our current state. Where are our numbers? How are we performing versus ourselves, versus our competitors? However we, want to imagine that. Next thing, and this is assuming we have 5-year goals planned, but what are our next year's annual goals? So what do we want to achieve by the end of next year? A lot of times the strategy work will start in the summer before, so that by the time the year end gets there, we're ready to deploy when that starts. Some people will do off a fiscal year, but annual goals need to start probably 3 to 6 months ahead of when they're actually going to get rolled out. But not before there is some catch ball going on. So the catch ball is really nice, because what it allows is it allows teams to go back and forth with goals. Management, hey, I want you to do this. Oh, well, shoot, it'd be really hard unless we did this. So back and forth until we can really get the exact goals we want, the values that we want, and that we have everyone agreed and in on that process. Once we have that, then we need to implement, right? Nothing works without implementation. We actually have to make sure that we're driving that everyone's doing what we said we're going to do. And what this requires are regular reviews. Now, I prefer to do a monthly review with the entire executive team, mission control room, and Obeya, a command center, call it what you want. But every month, review the goals that we set up. Because once we do that, if we're off target, then we can do some problem solving. We can create some countermeasures. We can get us back on track, and then we don't have to worry about it. And that just leaves the last thing, and that's reflection. So year after year, as the team does strategy deployment, the whole process should get easier. One of the great things that I love about strategy deployment is this really simple tool that someone developed. And honestly, I don't know who. I'm sure there's some lean gurus out there. This is called the X matrix, because it has an X in the middle of it. And the X matrix is made up of 4 parts, the south box, the west box, the north box, and the east box. And this is set by the organization top level and it tiers down. Right here we have 3 to 5 year goals. Okay, if you're a quick changing industry, you probably need to be 3. If you're a slow changing industry, 5 is probably okay. Over here we've got 1 year goals. So what chunk of the 5 year goal do we want to accomplish in 1 year? So if we're thinking about the what here, we can think about the how far here. And then that goes to the north box, which are initiatives. Right? And these initiatives are the actual how. Right? This is the how that we're going to drive to make sure that we're accomplishing what we need. And this part right here, the metrics, is how well we're doing. So these numbers are actually going to show us how we're doing. And then we've got the people responsible for it. And so we have the who. And all of this is on a single document. Now, let's just go through a couple real practical examples. So let's say we have the organization. Okay, we're working in the south box. Almost always, there's usually something to do with revenue or profit. So let's say we want revenue or profit to increase by 50% over the next 5 years, big number. In 1 year, we wanted to go revenue to increase by 10%. And then what we're going to do is we're going to launch a new product line this year that we've been working on. And we're going to measure its success by number of units sold. And then that person that's responsible is going to be the VP of sales. So on a single document, we can align this with this one. So there'll be a circle here. We can align this with this one. There'll be a circle here. Line to here. And the line to the who. And we can come up with however many initiatives and however many goals that we want. I recommend having 1 to 5, maybe 7. But that 3 to 5 spot is really the sweet spot of where we should be operating. So if this is the org level, all right, this is the C-suite, this is the CEO, the general manager, whatever, this is the person running the organization. We have the next level, so this would be level 2. Okay, this is level 1. Level 2 would be like a divisional level. So we don't have, on the division level matrix, we don't have 3 to 5 year goals. We have the 1 year org goals sitting here at the bottom. This piece moves right here. And then the division 1 year goes in the west box. So based on this piece, how much is the division going to do? If the organization wants it 50% in 5 years, 10% in 1 year, is the division going to increase it by 10%? Do they think they can beat market and increase 15%? Do they think they're a laggard and it's going to be 5%? Every single division. So if there's 5, 10 divisions, we have to make sure that these goals that are set in the 3 to 5 year turned into the 1 year are all captured. This is where the catch ball is happening. Right? Because a division may propose 10%. The organization may come back and go, you need it to be 15. The division may come back and be, these are the headwinds we're facing. The department come back and say, well, I need you to run an initiative to deal with those headwinds until you go back and forth. Here, you're creating all of the initiatives that are going to deliver the division 1 year goals. Then you can assign your metrics for each of the single one of these initiatives that you're running, and then who are the people that you're going to have assigned to make sure that those metrics get done? So you've got these correlation happening between each of the items, right? And then between the people. Now, here's a little secret sauce. Every one of these initiatives should be turned into an A3. Okay, and in this, I'm just going to coach a 9-box A3. And here's how it would work. Your initiative would be here in box 1. All right, so we've got 9 boxes. This one is going to be your initiative. Why are you doing that initiative? 2 is your current state, right? Assessing today. How are we performing today? 3 is where we want to be, right? This number right here goes into 3. This current state, what we're doing today, goes in 2. 4 is the gap between the 2. What are the obstacles that are in our way that are preventing us from achieving that? And this is where your projects sit. right in box 5. Now, some people will argue with me and say, Adam, that should be in 6, or 5 and 6 should be combined. I'm not going to get into semantics. Put your projects, list them in box 5. You may have a 1-to-1 correlation with the projects and the initiatives, or you could have 3 projects for 1 initiative. It depends on what you're doing. That's part of the catchball process. Because what happens, the organization needs to be able to sum up all of the projects across all of the divisions, and they've got to be able to say, okay, look, we can only do so many projects because we've got IT limited resources, we got supply chain limited resources, we've got AI, which a lot of organizations are working with, or pick your support function that's helping contribute out. So these projects right here have to be summed up at the org level so that we can make sure which ones are the most important. So this will end up becoming a prioritization process also, but they'll be pulling it from box 5 of all the divisional A3s. And then you'll be able to put in your divisional A3s, what is your completion plan for achieving it? And that should line up. So what's going to happen is every single month, all right, this is a new part. There'll be a tracker called a bowler because it looks like you're keeping bowling score. Okay, the vertical columns are January, February, March, blah, 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 December. The rows are each of the metrics that you're choosing to be important. So let's just say metric 1, metric 2, metric X. All right, and then each row is going to be split into planned and actual. So let's say we want to increase revenue by 12%. In month 1, we're 1%. In month 2, we're 2%. In month 3, we're 3%. In December, we're 12%. If we get to a month and we're behind, then that's very easy for us to create a countermeasure. So we can say, okay, let's do our problem solving, right? So this problem solving occurs when there's a discrepancy between the plan and the actual. And then that's where the review can come out and say, oh, look, we missed that month. Let's do a countermeasure, keep us on track, because all of this rolls up to the organization trying to achieve their 1-year goals in order to get to our 3 to 5 year goals. And then at any point in time, we're only 4 weeks from understanding that we are behind. So in review, we've got strategy deployment. All right, we've got focus, clarity, alignment, accountability. We've got the 7 steps of the process. We have the X matrix format. At the org level, 3 to 5 year, 1 year, initiatives, metrics, and people responsible. At the division, 1 year of the organizational goals. These swap right down here. The division 1 year goals. They don't have to be a 1-to-1 alignment. Year 1, you do this X matrix. Probably good to do that. These initiatives right here, you choose what you're going to do with those initiatives. And then what are the metrics you're going to assess? This is going to go back and forth a couple months, several times between the 2 levels until it's all boiled down. And then at the end of the year, when you're getting ready to launch the next year, these documents will be ready, the trackers will be ready, and everyone will be able to see where we're headed. That's strategy deployment. There's a lot more nuances to it, but this is the basics. This should help you out.